Hi there, this is Art and Such, and I'm going to show you today how to make my Rainbow Loom Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. For this project you'll need your Rainbow Loom set in the offset configuration with your middle row placed one peg up. You'll need a crochet hook or Rainbow Loom hook. You'll want brown for the hair, blue for the dress. If you have a lighter blue, go with lighter blue for sure. White, skin tone. I'm using the kind of pinker or pink tone from the Skin Tone bands by Rainbow Loom, but whichever color you choose is fine. You'll need about 8 red bands for your ruby slippers. And for the eyes, I went with this turquoise green, although you're welcome to use a different color. So let's get started with the arms. We're going to make them a little bit shorter than these. So on your loom, you're going to find a spot on the side and start with 2 white bands going from one peg to the next, and another 2 white bands from one peg to the next. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a single white, loop it 3 times around your hook, and bring it onto a single white. And this will go down from that last peg that you've used to the next peg, and you'll repeat that and place this same kind of thing onto the same band. So wrap a single 3 times. And this gives that kind of cuff to the sleeve, so you'll have this result when you're done. Then we're going to pick 2 skin tone bands and put those on below. Another 2 skin tone bands, and you're going to cap it with 1 more skin tone, and you can wrap that twice. We'll just loop right up, so go under your caps. And when you get to the top, we're just going to take those bands off and place them on your hook or on a holding hook. You can adjust those sleeves. If you aren't happy with this length of the arm, you can make it a little bit longer by adding an extra 2 pink. The next thing we're going to do is make a couple of little puffs for the shoulders, and that's the same thing. So we're going to do a single white wrapped 3 times on our hook. And this time we're going to double our single white over, and this keeps it from coming too loose off the shoulders. And we'll just put these all aside for now. Let's try that again. 3. You will be needing 2 of these shoulder puffs, and you will be needing 2 of the arm pieces, so this is a good time to pause and get those ready. Once you have this, you can go to the top of your loom with your arrow pointing down, or your open spaces pointing down, and you're going to put 2 skin tone bands from your top peg to your second peg on the middle, 2 white bands from the second middle to the top side, and 2 to the other top side. We're going to put 2 more whites going down the center. And then we're going to do 2 sets of blue doubles coming down on either side. And I'll turn this for you in just a second. From here, you're going to take 2 whites and bring them from the third on your center to your second on the side, and repeat that for your other side. We can add our shoulder bands and our shoulder puffs. It doesn't matter terribly much which order they go in, because you can always tuck them under each other at the end. But when we're doing the arms, what we're going to do is put 2 of those bands onto the top peg on the side, and put the other 2 bands onto the next peg down, so that it stretches a little bit. It'll come out a little bit sideways. 2 of those loops onto here, 2 here, and we can turn it around and repeat that on the other side of our loom. So our arm, we have 2 bands on the second, 2 bands on the first, and we want our shoulder puff on there as well. Make sure you get all of those hoops on top, and you can twist it up to the side or the top a little bit. Now we can continue with our bands. We're going to go down using double blues, so 2 blues, 7 times on either side. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this will be for the dress. If you want to make more of the plaid pattern, you can throw some whites in there as well, put some single whites on top with some of the blues, but I tried that out and I think it looks really nice just keeping it the solid blue color. We're gonna start on the middle after this, and the middle is gonna come down, but just to the peg above here. So we'll go from the 3rd peg, doing sets down the middle all the way up until you're at your 5th peg from the bottom. Just gonna keep filling those in with doubles. This is going to be for the dress, of course. Before we get to our caps, let's make some legs for the bottom of our loom. And once more, I'm choosing to make them a little bit shorter this time, but if you like this length, you'll just put an extra set of skin tone bands on. For our legs, we're going to take 2 reds, wrap it twice around our hook, and pull this onto 2 more reds. And this goes onto a set of double whites. And then we're going to put this onto 4 sets of skin tone bands. So using 2 at a time. We put our double bands onto the end of the hook and pull the loops on top. That's 2. That's 3 and 4. And this will go on your 5th peg from the bottom on either side, and this is where your blue has ended. Once more, give it a good stretch and make sure your bands are all coming on. We'll repeat this again for your other foot. So, ruby red shoe, 1, 2, 3 with 2 single reds. Pull it onto another 2 single reds. Make sure you've got them all there. This goes on to 2 whites. And onto 4 sets of skin tone bands. Three and 4. Okay, so now we're ready to add some extensions, and then we can cap it off. Our extensions are going to go from this 4th peg down until the end one where the foot is. And what we'll do to make our extensions is take a single blue, loop it twice onto our hook so it's easier to find those loops, and we're going to put it onto a pair of singles. We'll repeat this 4 more times, so we have altogether 5 sets that it will go on top of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll be putting this on our 4th peg down. And this broadens out the side of the dress. This is optional, you don't have to do this, but it will give it a little stretch to it. Now you're going to reach in, and for each set here that you did, grab one single band from the bottom if you can, but don't worry about that too much. And we'll be bringing it over onto each of the pegs below that fourth one down. Should reach right to the bottom here. And when you get to the end, you're going to find that first cap band that we used and bring that on top. So I'm going to leave you here to make your second extension, and then we'll come back for part 2 and begin to cap this off and loop it up. Hi there, this is Art and Such with part 2 of my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. We have most of her body together now. You'll have something like this with your extensions attached on the side on your 4th pegs on the top to your 5th pegs from the bottom counting up. You have your legs on, and you've got your arms and your shoulder pieces and our neck ready to connect. So now we're going to put on some capping bands. I've started here and I'll walk you through it. We're going to go from the 3rd peg on the side across to the 3rd peg on the side and pull it upwards into a triangle. We'll repeat that from the 4th peg to the 4th peg. For your next peg, you're going to do the same thing, but you'll double your band over. So bring the band over onto itself and stretch it across from your 5th peg to your 5th peg. This is going to pull in the waist a little bit. We're going to do a single triangle from your 6th peg to your 6th peg, so that's the next one under, and stretch it up into the triangle form. And you'll keep doing that until you're at your last peg where the foot is. And this one we're gonna do something a little different again. We'll be doubling our single band over, stretching it across. You can use your hook here if it's a little bit tight. So you're gonna bring it on top in a triangle form, and then you'll bring this bottom part on top too. So it's gonna be really tight. And if you can't manage it, you can always keep it as a single. But I find this keeps that bottom part from sagging a bit. Now we are ready to loop up. So let's start with the middle. We're gonna go underneath here and pull our first band forward. And we're just gonna grab each set of bands, avoiding our cap bands, and pull them up to the top of the middle row. We might actually stop here. Yes, we'll stop here right at the white. Sorry about that. Because when we get to this first white, we need to bring these bands to the side. Make sure they're coming back in the direction they came from. So it'll be a little bit tight. You'll want to push those down. Take your next 2 bands and bring them to the other side. And so this is sitting right under the arms. And we'll loop up our next white and just pause there. Okay, now we can go back and we can start on our sides, and we'll meet it all up at the top. Pull back your leg, go underneath, turn it to the side to see better if you need, and bring up those first 2 blues on top from the bottom. You're going to go under your next set, and we're going to start looping up the rest of the way. Pull back your caps, grab your bottom 2, bring them forward. We'll repeat this right to the top, and then we're going to be doing it on the other side. So if you're feeling really confident about this, go ahead and fast forward a little bit. And if you just want to keep doing this with me, we'll get through this as fast as we can and keep going. So when we get right to the top here, you're going to watch out for those white bands. We're going to look at that last peg and reach under all the bands, pulling them all back. Just grab those 2 white bands, and they're going to go to the center 2nd peg. We can turn this around and try this angle. See if this is better for camera angles. Okay, we're going to go under that other leg. It looks like I've broken a band here. If you do break a band, you have double bands here, so I'm not going to worry too much this time, but you can always reach back through, and what you would do is go like this. Get under your bands, grab your band on the peg and replace it where it came from. But as I said, I'm not going to worry about that too much. This is for demonstration purposes, and we do have one band still securing this in place. So we'll keep looping forwards. You'll have a lot of bands here, so just be careful and push them down as you go. Couple more here. And once more, we're going to go from this kind of armpit band, get under all those pieces, and reach to the very, very bottom. Pull those bottom two pegs out, around, shake it loose, and back onto that second peg in the center. Now I'm going to turn this way to see a little bit better. We're going to reach into that second peg in the middle, and go all the way underneath and get your two neckband pieces. So these are skin tone bands. And at this point we can remove our body from the loom, but make sure you hold on to the top two bands on that center peg there. I'm just going to use my hook for some of these tighter pieces. And then we should be able to pull most of the rest off without too much trouble. So here we have our body. You can put this just on the side for now, and we'll start putting our face in order. So using the loom, same configuration, we'll start at the top with two browns going from the first peg on the center to the first on the side, and repeat that going in the opposite direction. We'll do two sets of double brown bands going down on either side. So 2 and 2. 2 and 2. This will be for our hair. 2 skin tone bands coming from the first on the center to the second on the center. Another 2. And here we're going to come downwards like so. Oh, maybe we'll do one more. We'll make it a tiny bit longer on the face. Okay, so sorry. We'll do 3 sets of skin tone bands there. And then we need one set to come up to the side from the fourth on the center to the third peg on the side, and the same for the other side. We'll add our eyes now. So you'll take your eye color band. I'm using turquoise, but you might want to use a darker color or a different shade. We'll take our turquoise, our eye color, wrap it 3 or 4 times onto our hook and repeat. I'm doing 4 wraps this time. You'll put your skin tone band right on the end and pull your greens on top. This will go from your second peg to your second peg, across from one side to the other, and you'll need to separate your eyes a little bit. You can use your hook here or your hands, because we're gonna bring one of those bands over the top. Really stuck together this time. Okay, let's get our hook in there. Separate our bands, and we'll put one of these on top of the second center peg, like so. And we'll throw a couple of cap bands on top. One across the second peg to the second peg where our eyes are, and one across the pegs right below. And then the next thing, almost the last thing we have to do, is to make some curls for the hair. For these I did 2 sets for either side of length of 5 loops using a single chain, and I'll show you how to make one of these, and then you can decide for yourself how many you'd like and how long you'd like them to be. We take a brown, we wrap it twice over our hook, we thread that onto a single and replace the other end, thread it onto another single, and replace it on the end, and the number of browns you use will determine the length. So I'm going to do just 4 on this one. I did do 5 on my original pattern. Once you have your pieces, you'll want to pause here to make some more perhaps. You can put that on your 3rd peg down on the side. I'm going to put my other ones on as well. So here are 2 on this side. Push them down a little bit. And we'll turn it around and you'll be making 2 single chains for the other side, 3rd peg down. We're going to take our body. You'll have to decide which part you want to face front, although it really doesn't matter too much. You can always shift the pieces through. Bring your neck bands on top and we'll stretch the rest of the body out of the way if we can. First 2 bands going to the side. I think I've got the right 2 there, yes. To the side, next 2 to the other side. Loop up the center here. And do your cap bands. Turn your loom sideways and get those bottom 2 browns. Next 2 browns, and meet these up in the middle. And repeat this on your other side. Turn your loom around, reach under all your other bands and get those bottom 2 brown bands. And we'll keep on looping up there. Meet it in the center. If you want a brown band to connect, you're just gonna put your hook underneath, grab that band, pull it through, create a slip knot, and you can remove this all from your loom. You'll want to tuck this brown band away in the back. You'll need to pull your braids out under those skin bands. If you're not happy with where the shoulder puffs are, you can always tuck those under around the blues. You can adjust your arms. And then the last thing that I did on mine, I'm afraid I don't know of an easier method for this, but I encourage you to experiment a little. I brought one blue band through the other, and I made a knot. Try it this way. So what I did is I wrapped it around my finger, brought the other piece on top, and brought the bottom piece through. You end up with a bit of a bow, which you can wrap about 4 times around your braids. And give that a little tug to adjust it, and do the same for your other side. Once more, you'll want to tuck in your last band and give your other bands a bit of a stretch. And when you're all done, you should have something a little bit like this. I hope you enjoyed. Please tune in for my other videos and check out the rest of my Wizard of Oz series. Thank you for watching.